The liminality of old Minecraft really resonates with me as an aesthetic in a game not many others capture, and for this reason it holds a very strong nostalgic feeling in my heart, as I believe it does for many others. Now, in my last video I made about Minecraft's PS1 version, I briefly mentioned how I thought it reminded me of the old feeling Minecraft gives off, that liminal feeling, and with some inspiration from a creator named Basil in his video exploring liminal spaces in Minecraft, I wanted to describe how I feel Minecraft displays liminality. So if you don't know what liminal spaces are, let me give you a description really quick. The definition of a liminal space is an uncertain transition between where you've been and where you are going physically, emotionally, or metaphorically. And when you look at the surface layer of Minecraft, even back in the day, this feeling isn't immediately apparent, but with just a little bit of searching it becomes clear why so many people like myself get a liminal vibe from these parts of Minecraft, because they are definitely there. And I think this is because it's been marketed and so socially accepted as a kid's game, so naturally you want to look at the game and think that it's a peaceful, lively place. But then as you explore the game more, not only do you realize that there are things in the game that can be potentially scary or extremely annoying, but also kinda surreal. And you get this more and more as you play the game, just like how in real life I think liminal spaces work so good because you're used to what real life looks like, and when you are put into that liminal experience, there's something off about it. Now, I want to talk about why I think Minecraft is such a good catalyst for this liminal vibe, which I've boiled down to 3 main points I'm going to be going over. The ambience, the solo gameplay, and nostalgia. So first, the ambience. This is easily the most important factor because it's the base for this liminal feeling, and the game wouldn't feel liminal without the generation that it displays. And this is almost always found in older Minecraft, with things like the old render distance making you blind to what could be only 20 to 30 blocks ahead of you. Or 1 second you're listening to some upbeat, nice music, and the next it's completely silent. Almost too silent. And while I was watching Basil's video, he talked about something that was extremely familiar to me in old Minecraft gameplay. Some good old strip mining with no sounds but breaking blocks in your own minimal footsteps. And out of nowhere, hearing something that was most definitely not you. And you sit there, trying to listen, again and again, to eventually just go back to strip mining cautiously. But this is irrational, because I'm alone in this world. But just as Basil mentions, it's not being alone that's scary. It's being scared to not be alone in a world where you should be alone. Which explains why creepypastas like Herobrine started to come about, a creature that was scary, but you never really saw it or interacted with it. You were just terrified that it might be there. Bringing me nicely to my next point, solo gameplay. Now I mean this in the sense of playing by yourself. The world doesn't necessarily have to be a solo world, it can be multiplayer, because don't get me wrong, wandering around in a world and into builds that you didn't make can be even more liminal than your own. Like back in the day when I used to play factions and I would roam the surface trying to find bases to raid, and every once in a while you would come across these buildings that were just off and weird, like you weren't meant to be there, and roaming them was quite fun, but it was a lot like a liminal space, and there was just this eerie sense that you couldn't shake off. And a lot of these experiences I've had were earlier in my life, as I don't think I've enjoyed Minecraft like how I did back when I was addicted to it for 4 or 5 years now, and the memories of these fond times help with this liminal feeling, as I can't help but associate nostalgia with liminal spaces. As whenever I look at a liminal space, I can't help but feel nostalgia given the right photo, as many others do, and this undoubtedly holds the liminal feeling together, where back in the day what I was feeling, I didn't have a description for it and a way to ponder over it, as I do now, where I can go back to these old versions and fully experience the liminality because I understand it. But this does come with a con, and in this circumstance, ignorance is bliss. And nowadays it just feels boring knowing what's happening. Back then, it genuinely was an experience and was cool to kind of be immersed in something where you don't really know what's happening, you just know that it's cool. And this may be a personal opinion, but I love the feeling of liminal spaces, and I loved experiencing it in Minecraft because the creepy, eerie feeling that it gives off is very entertaining, and something for me that can either be pleasurable to immerse myself into or explore its nature and learn why it's so irrational, why a picture of a place can be unsettling and nostalgic. Doing that is so entertaining for me, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one that shares this experience. But just because going back and doing the same thing might not be as fun anymore, there are different ways people have tried to recreate this long-lost feeling, and some have done an extremely good job. Like in my last video, I played the PS1 version of Minecraft, and it replicated some of these creepy liminal vibes perfectly. And I recommend you go play it if you're into this type of stuff. It's a really good play. But not only have people made ways to play it, there are all types of videos and pictures on the internet that try to recreate that feeling, such as this video, which I absolutely love. This is beautiful. 10 out of 10. This type of content absolutely tingles my brain, and especially if I'm in the mood for it, I cannot help but soak it up. It just makes me feel so content. Like, not necessarily happy, just fulfilled. And there's plenty more content like it too. And I could keep rambling about liminal spaces for a while, but I think I'm done today. If you want to see more content from me, then like and subscribe so I know, and if you have any specific ideas, then just give me a comment and I'll pump them out. Wait, pause?